Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. So today I'm here recapping my resolutions for 2020, and if you want to see how the year went for me, then keep on watching. Spoiler alert, it sucked. When you think of 2020, it's very easy to just say 2020 sucked because X, Y, and Z. The year started with so much potential. I was really clicking with people. I was really finding my groove. I was making progress in the gym. I had a really healthy relationship with going to the gym and working out. Me and my best friend went on an enlightening trip to Greece, and I had all these travel plans to go and sightsee the world. I had a really solid relationship with me and my ex where we would just like really build each other up, and I felt super positive towards the new year. I had all of these high expectations before that thing happened and everything completely derailed. 2020 was a roller coaster is the easiest way to explain it. You would have moments where, you know, we're going up and then we would go down, and then we would go up and then we would go down. And it was like, if 2020 wasn't under this microscope of the pandemic and coronavirus and all those things, I think 2020 wouldn't have been as turbulent, because with every action there was a reaction. I can't sit here and say 2020 was my worst year, because even though it kicked my booty like a lot of the time, I feel that it helped me grow and helped me develop the person on how I handle adversity. So when I think about my resolutions, I'm having this, conversation with myself to say this wasn't a typical year. I don't know if you guys have been able to piece this together, but I'm a very self-deprecating person. I'm very hard on myself, but I'm also super lax on myself. Like, I know I can push myself harder, but I also make a lot of excuses. It's very complicated. It's a lot. I'm still putting myself on such a high pedestal. I'm having a hard time like allowing myself to give a little slack. Like, 2020 was a wild year. I feel like just surviving most days and just getting through the day was enough to like just be happy about. When I talk about my 4 categories, as you guys know, I like to discuss 4 categories, which is creativity, financial, fitness, and intellectual. I feel like that when I think of the resolutions collectively as a whole, whatever I said in the beginning of 2020, we can just scrap it, because I don't think that any of those things happened. I'm putting a lot of emphasis on that first quarter, because that's really the only one I can use as a metric. I'm gonna still discuss those 4 topics, but I want to kind of talk about each one individually, and maybe not reflecting on what the goals were at the beginning of 2020, but just talking about how those have changed throughout the course of the year. Let's start in with number 1, which was creativity. If you've been around for a while, you know that this has always been my hardest resolution. I think I can confidently say that this year, this might have been my strongest resolution. For a very long time, I would sit here and say that this channel was a distraction. It was an outlet for me to create a life that I wanted to. I had full intentions and full steam ahead of becoming a lifestyle blogger, where that took all of those components. And from day one, this has been a lifestyle blog. And it's not to say that I live a false life. Like, whatever I tell you guys is genuine and authentic. When I took that little hiatus back in 2019, and I didn't know what direction I wanted to take this channel, I wasn't excited posting content anymore. I really just was at a standstill. Not even refocusing myself on what my intentions with this channel were, because I don't think that was the case. But what I really think it was the fact that I didn't know what kind of niche I wanted to fit into. Did I want to be beauty? Did I want to be fashion? Did I want to be lifestyle? Did I want to be travel? I wanted to create this like platform where it felt like we were friends. And how I talk to the camera is how I talk to my friends. I have no filter. What you see is what you get. I'm not going to sugarcoat anything. And I don't think I have. In recent videos, my personality comes out a lot more, which is crazy, and some people can't handle it, but I think that it's become more apparent, and I'm happy with the person that is being illustrated on the video. Not that I was not posting content I wasn't happy with, but I think what it was is that I was posting content that I felt obligated I had to. You could tell that I was trying to like beat a personal deadline sometimes. With 2020, I can be thankful for one thing, which is that it has helped me become more confident in the person I am with the content I'm posting and the person I've become because of creative outlets. So the next resolution topic I want to discuss is financial. I'm somebody who before was always open and transparent about my financial situation. I know not just myself, but a ton of people in 2020 have been really financially impacted by this pandemic. I don't want to sit here and gloat or showboat or harp or anything like that because I keep things authentic. I want to be transparent when I discuss that this topic was really difficult for me. And I know for a lot of people too. So it's going to be a sensitive topic. I'm not going to get into too much nitty-gritty details because quite frankly, I don't think it's anyone's place but myself to know these things. I have been very fortunate from the time that this has started to current day that I have been working from home. I still have a job. There was a point during the summer that I was partially furloughed, but I retained all benefits and I was still working while receiving unemployment. As a matter of fact, I even got a raise in the pandemic, and it was a year that I kind of threw away financial responsibility to a small degree. I'm somebody who's always been comfortable discussing money. Financially, my situation now, I am not comfortable discussing. Been able to pay my bills, which is important, but I am nowhere near financially sound where I might have been in the past. Compared to the start of the year, I really wanted to tackle credit card debt. Quite honestly, I thought that the world was gonna go to. Therefore, I was like, yo, ball out, treat yourself. I'll be the first to admit it. We kind of got our together. And then I was like, oh, maybe I should stop spending. But now I'm kind of like, you know, I don't know where we are. Like, you can't take it with you when you go. I want to save money because I want to eventually buy a house and eventually do these things. But I also am like, I can go for some Flamin' Hot Cheetos. You want to go Chick-fil-A? I'll go Chick-fil-A. Any goals I did have, I threw them out the window. And the whole resolution, you know, we had full potential, starting out great, riding the roller coaster. It was a big dip down. And now I feel like we're kind of like in the corkscrew. We thought the world was ending, so like, sue me. Along with financial, I think the next one we can also throw right in the trash, which was my fitness goals. I would prefer if we didn't talk about it. When it came to my fitness goals, there were none. I was certainly not that person in the queue, like working on my fitness. Like, that was not me at all. I definitely had put on weight, but side note, I had recently bought the Fit Track scale and I stepped on the scale, and this thing measures like 17 units of measurement, whether it's like your BMI, hydration level. It's wicked smart. Real scared to see the number, but when I saw the number to what I thought was in my head, they were very different. And even though it's not good, like, I don't want to sit here and say that like, oh, I'm back to my lightest weight ever. No, but the number that was on that scale was not as bad as I thought. So like, you know, take it with a grain of salt. But you know, no, because sodium is bad for you. All joking aside, I had a really tough time when it came to the quarantine with working out. I had formed such a strong relationship with working out at a gym in my brain that when I went to a gym, that hour and a half was dedicated to me. The second I walked in the door, I left all bullshit at the door. I would go to the gym, I would let out these frustrations, and then when I would leave, I'd pick the bullshit back up, and then I would go home and I would go back about my day. When you have taken that component and that element completely out of it, it's very hard, and I'm having a hard time, even still to this day, trying to navigate the relationship of not the gym and not a location, but just the idea of working out. Not to say, but it feels like we're heading towards another shutdown, and this time around, I don't want to just sit idle. For the whole year of 2020, I just sat idle, and I think that's why I had a really hard time of accepting or even really looking at it in a rational light that the year wasn't that bad. It just had bad moments. And then the last topic I want to discuss is the intellectual. Usually I mean this on a surface level, like I teach myself things and I learn things, but if we want to take it to the philosophical level, oh, mama learned a lot this year. I know I had a reading goal of 25 books. That stopped midway through the year. Sorry. Goals of teaching myself a language, that was gonna happen, and it stopped for a minute. I had intentions of finally completing those online classes. Like, I'm home all the time. Like, I should have been able to do those. I didn't. So I think intellectually on the surface level, I treaded water. When I was doing those things, it did make me very successful. I stopped doing those things is when I had a lot of the mental, I don't want to say mental instability, for lack of a better word, the mental instability that I had when I wasn't doing the things that make me smarter was definitely apparent. It became very apparent that my anxiety and my depression kind of kicked into overdrive, and not just kicking into overdrive because of just regular depression and anxiety, but pandemic anxiety and depression and seasonal depression and all of those things really went into turbo gear, then pepper in the fact that I had COVID, it really did rock how I looked at myself, my life, and all those things. To kind of have real talk, because I briefly mentioned this in the last 2 videos I posted, but in that period of isolation and in that period of quarantine where I was just by myself in this bedroom, I had one of those moments where I reflected on the year and I was laying in bed and I'm like, what did I accomplish? What did I do this year that like I would be proud to tell somebody in a year-end recap? And I couldn't think of anything. It told me to get my ass in gear and it told me to stop the and be real with yourself. I've had countless people tell me that you're too hard on yourself. You have to understand that like things are tough. But for me, that's not an excuse. I have been in very difficult situations in the past where I've done these things and they have made me successful. So to get back to that, it's like literally breaking it down to ground zero and forming habits again. 2020 taught me that if I do those things that I enjoy doing, reading, learning, teaching myself new things, I am successful. And as an adult, to teach yourself new things is very overwhelming, it's very complicated. It can be very stressful, but I think doing so is so rewarding and so fulfilling after the fact. Those were my resolutions for 2020, so thank you guys so much for watching. I truly appreciate it. If you like my videos and if you like my content and if you like me, feel free to subscribe by hitting the button down below and getting notified when I post new videos. 2020, collectively as a whole, was not a bad year. Yes, it did pay me to say that, but I think 2020 has definitely been a year of lessons and teaching me things that I didn't think were possible. I know a lot of people are going to look back on 2020 and be like, 2020 was myself included. As somebody who tries to find things with a silver lining, 2020 has taught me more about myself than anything. I think it taught me not just how to wash my hands properly or how to socially distance. It taught me a lot more about myself personally. We were at the peak. Things were really great in my life and we've been completely at the bottom, completely alone, isolated. To have both of those in a year, it teaches a lot about you to yourself. I've been at that bottom of the barrel and it's very scary to be there. It's very overwhelming. And I think, you know, to sit here and talk about it and to be transparent, which is what I strive for on this channel, I don't think 2020 was an awful year. I was very fortunate I was able to go do something really cool at the start of the year. I was able to be with friends and learn relationships and learn about myself and who I want in my corner, who I don't want in my corner, and all of those things. I was very fortunate. We could joke that 2020 sucked because we couldn't go to concerts. We could sit here and say it sucked because we couldn't travel. We could sit here and say, but I am very fortunate to say I was able to be here for it. It's not to say that 2020 was the worst year. For some people, yes. And it's not to diminish any of those people who have lost lives, lost jobs, all those things. But I will be sure to do a full blog recap of the year 2020, and you guys can go find that over at the website, sarahlock.com, 2H's2Ks. Also, be sure to check out the website. I actually did a little bit of rebranding. Feeling a little bit more inspired to do so. And let me know if you guys like it. And I will also list all my social media profiles down below too, so you can follow me wherever I might be. Hopefully 2021 will be a year of prosperity. It will be better for all of us. I'm just trying to remain really optimistic about it, and I'm just trying to manifest that. I just want to manifest because like I manifested a lot of bad in 2020. I want to manifest the good in 2021. Thank you guys again so much for watching. Take care. Love you always. Stay safe. Happy holidays. Be well. And until next time, we'll see you guys later. Bye. Oh, I like that. That's not as far. I can just go whoop. Oh, sure, I can jump right up when I gotta do that, but when I go to close a video out, I can't. Chestnuts roasting on an open fire. That's gonna burn down my house. Jack Frost nipping the tree. Oh, 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 that's painful. That was a weird frog in my throat. I don't need talking points because I can just say that 2020 sucked. You'd think I'd learned my lesson from the last time that I had one of the woodwick candles. They make me nervous. A candle is gonna make me nervous the whole time I'm filming. Wow! No! Clearly I don't learn from my mistakes. I don't need to be connected to power. Just like 2020, just mic drop. I'm not that skilled at an animated mic, so just use your imagination. Mic drop.